Chosen one, why are your hands shaking right now? Why can't you scroll past this message? And why does it feel like someone just whispered your name in the silence of your room? Dear chosen one, you didn't stumble here. You didn't casually click. Heaven intercepted your scroll at this exact second, because what I'm about to release over your life will shatter every delay, every doubt, every whisper that told you it's too late or it's not for you. Listen to me. Feel that stirring in your chest, that unexplainable tightness that makes your breath catch. That's not anxiety. That's the weight of divine intervention crashing into your reality, like lightning splitting open the night sky. God has been tracking you through every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every moment you whispered, "Are you even there?" And tonight, right now, He's answering. This isn't another motivational message. This is a divine summons. The vault of heaven, rusted shut for years over your life, is creaking open with blinding light pouring through. And the millions, yes, I said millions, that are about to drop into your existence aren't just money, they're confirmation. God is saying, you were never forgotten. You were just hidden for divine timing. You felt it, haven't you? That restless ache in your soul. The sleepless nights where your spirit wouldn't let you rest. That's not exhaustion. That's acceleration building in your bones. God has been warming up your engine through every trial, every rejection, every year of silence. And tonight He hits the gas. Before we go deeper, let me pause here with a grateful heart. Thank you to every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're sowing seeds into a harvest that will feed hungry souls across this nation, souls who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your time, your attention, your open heart, it all matters. And if this message is already resonating with your soul, go ahead and support however you feel led. You're not supporting me, you're fueling a movement. Now listen carefully. The enemy knows what's happening right now. He feels the shift. That's why he tried everything to keep you from watching this. He knows that when a chosen one finally discovers their inheritance, the game is over. You've lived through years of delay, doors slammed shut, promises that felt like lies, prayers that seemed to bounce off concrete ceilings. But here's the truth that's going to wreck you. What you called abandonment was actually incubation. What you called silence was God shaping you in secret for a blessing so massive that if He gave it to you too soon, it would have crushed you. God doesn't release millions into the hands of the unprepared. He releases them into the hands of the tested, the broken then rebuilt, the ones who learned to worship Him even when it felt like He wasn't listening. That's you. That's why you're still here. If your spirit is trembling right now, if something inside you already knows this night isn't ordinary type, I'm ready in the comments. Don't think about it, just obey the stirring. You're not agreeing with me. You're aligning with heaven. You're telling the angels assigned to your breakthrough, release it now. The hidden blessing isn't coming, it's here. And you, chosen one, are about to step into the greatest chapter of your entire existence. The treasury of heaven is opening. Your name is on the guest list. Don't you dare scroll away. What's about to be poured into your spirit will leave you unrecognizable by morning. Why have you carried burdens no one else could see? Why did your pain cut deeper while others seem to glide through life untouched? And why, tell me, why does it feel like you've been fighting a war in the shadows while the rest of the world throws parties in the light? Chosen one, let me tell you something that's going to break you open and put you back together in the same breath. That invisible weight crushing your chest, that wasn't punishment, that was preparation. You weren't being destroyed, you were being forged. And every tear you cried in secret, every night you begged God to just let you quit, every moment you wondered if He'd forgotten your name, that was the sound of heaven shaping a diamond in the darkness. You see, God doesn't waste pain. He weaponizes it. He doesn't randomly assign suffering. He strategically positions it. The heaviness you've carried wasn't because you were weak. It was because you were chosen to carry what others couldn't lift. You were being trained for a weight of glory so massive that if you hadn't learned to bear the invisible, you'd collapse under the visible. Look at Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers at 17, falsely accused, thrown into prison, forgotten by everyone who promised to remember him. 13 years of absolute silence from heaven. Can you imagine? 13 years of wondering if the dream God gave him was just a cruel joke. But here's what Joseph didn't know while he was rotting in that cell. Every betrayal was building his authority. Every false accusation was sharpening his character. Every year in prison was a semester in the University of Supernatural Leadership. And when Pharaoh finally called him up, Joseph didn't just get promoted. He became second in command of the most powerful nation on earth and saved millions from starvation. That's you, beloved. You've been in training while others were on vacation. Or think about David. Anointed king as a teenager, then spent the next 15 years running for his life, hiding in caves, eating scraps, dodging spears thrown by a jealous madman. 15 years between the promise and the throne. 15 years of asking God, "Did I hear you wrong?" But every cave became a psalm. Every tear became a song. Every moment of terror became a testimony. And when David finally took the throne, he didn't just rule, he transformed a nation and wrote the soundtrack for every believer who would come after him. You thought those years of isolation were wasted. God calls them your greatest investment. And what about Anna the prophetess? Widowed after only 7 years of marriage, then spent 84 years in the temple, fasting and praying. 84 years. While everyone else was building families and careers, Anna was building spiritual authority in secret. The world forgot her name. Heaven was taking notes. And when baby Jesus was brought to the temple, this elderly woman nobody noticed became one of the first voices to proclaim the Messiah. Her decades of hiddenness qualified her for a moment of eternal significance. Chosen one. You've been an Anna. Faithful in the shadows, worshipping when no one was watching, believing when the evidence screamed otherwise. And the world may have forgotten you, but heaven has been preparing you for an unveiling so powerful it will silence every critic and validate every silent prayer. Here's what I need you to understand. You weren't being buried, you were being planted. And everything that tried to crush you was actually pushing you deeper into the soil of purpose. The pressure wasn't destroying your destiny, it was activating it. The weight wasn't breaking you, it was building you. If that truth just hit your soul like a lightning bolt, I want you to whisper it aloud right now. I was planted, not buried. Say it again. I was planted, not buried. Let heaven hear the truth you just remembered. Let the enemy hear the sound of a chosen one waking up to their purpose. Because what's about to break through the soil of your life will feed nations. And the millions being released tonight, they're the rain. Heaven's been holding back until you were rooted deep enough to handle the flood. But here's the question that changes everything. If God trusted you with the fire of suffering, what do you think He's about to trust you with now? You want to know the real reason your life has been so quiet? Why every door slammed shut just when your hand reached for the handle? Why opportunities you were born for went to people half as qualified? Let me tell you something that's going to crack your chest wide open. God wasn't punishing you. He was protecting you. See, there's a secret the enemy never wanted you to discover. Your hiddenness wasn't rejection, it was encryption. God didn't bury you in obscurity because you were worthless. He locked you in a vault because you were priceless. Think about it. When a jeweler gets his hands on a raw diamond, uncut, unpolished, worth millions, does he throw it in the storefront window where anyone can grab it? Does he let untrained hands touch it? Hell no. He hides it. He guards it. He takes it to the back room where only master craftsmen are allowed, and there, in secret, in the dark, he cuts every facet with precision until that stone can catch light in ways that stop people mid-step. That's what God's been doing with you. Isaiah 49:2 says it plain. He made me a polished arrow and hid me in his quiver, not threw me away, not forgot about me, hid me, past tense, intentional, strategic. Because arrows don't sit on display, they stay concealed until the archer is ready to release them at the exact target that matters. You thought your loneliness was abandonment. No, beloved, it was heaven's security system. God was keeping you away from people who would have used you up before your season arrived. He was protecting you from platforms that would have destroyed you, relationships that would have drained you, and opportunities that looked good but would have derailed your destiny. The world celebrates exposure. God celebrates preservation. The world screams, if you're not seen, you don't exist. But God whispers, if I hide you, you're too valuable to risk. Every year you spent in the wilderness wasn't wasted time. It was a classified mission. You weren't being overlooked. You were being prepared for an assignment so significant that premature visibility would have ruined it. You know why Joseph spent 13 years in slavery and prison before he ruled Egypt? Because if Pharaoh had found him at 17 arrogant, untested, still talking about his dreams, he would have destroyed him. But at 30, after betrayal, false accusations, forgotten promises, that Joseph didn't just interpret dreams, he saved nations. God wasn't late, he was precise. So here's the question that's going to shatter every lie you've believed. What if the very thing you thought disqualified you was actually God's way of protecting what he placed inside you? What if your rejection was his redirection? What if your isolation was his incubation? He didn't hide you because you were unworthy. He hid you because you were priceless. And now, right now, the vault is opening. The master jeweler is finished. The arrow is sharpened. Your hidden season is over, and your release season has begun. The millions dropping into your life tonight aren't random. They're the receipt for years of faithfulness nobody saw. If you feel the truth of this burning in your chest right now, type "I'm still chosen" in the comments. Heaven takes attendance when faith answers, because what's about to happen next will prove that your wilderness wasn't the end of your story. It was the setup for your greatest chapter. Now listen to me closely, chosen one, because what I'm about to reveal will expose why the enemy has fought you so viciously over your finances. You think the warfare around your money was proof that God abandoned you? No, it was evidence that hell knew what heaven was about to release. There's a transfer happening right now in the spirit realm. Not someday, not when you're ready enough or holy enough, right now. And this transfer isn't just about dollar bills hitting your bank account. This is about divine resources flooding every dimension of your existence, supernatural ideas that will birth billion-dollar movements, influence that will open doors welded shut for generations, health that defies every doctor's report, and a legacy so powerful your great-grandchildren will still be walking in the overflow. Let me show you something that will wreck every lie you've believed about your lack. Tyler Perry, homeless, sleeping in his car, eating one meal a day, writing plays nobody wanted. The world saw failure. Heaven saw preparation. Today, he owns a studio bigger than Warner Brothers. That wasn't luck. That was divine transfer. J.K. Rowling, a single mother on welfare, rejected by 12 publishers, living in poverty so crushing she considered ending it all. But she held on to an invisible promise. And when the transfer came, it didn't trickle. It exploded. Billions. Not millions, billions. Howard Schultz grew up in Brooklyn housing projects, watching his father break under the weight of dead-end jobs. No money, no connections, no silver spoon. But God whispered a vision about coffee that would transform culture. Today, Starbucks sits in 80 countries. Do you see the pattern? Hiddenness, warfare, then overflow so massive it silences every critic. Deuteronomy 28:12 declares it plainly. The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season, and to bless all the work of your hands. That rain isn't a drizzle, beloved. It's a downpour. And Proverbs 10:22 seals it. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth, without painful toil for it. No more striving, no more clawing your way up. This blessing comes with peace attached. But here's what most people miss. There's a divine wealth transfer encoded in Scripture. Proverbs 13:22 says, "The wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous." Think about that. While you've been fighting in the wilderness, resources have been accumulating in vaults with your name engraved on them. Money sitting in the hands of the wicked, just waiting for God's signal to move. And tonight, that signal is being released. Picture this. An old concrete dam, cracked and groaning under the pressure of heaven's river behind it. For years, you've been on the dry side, wondering why the water won't come. But that dam wasn't holding back your blessing to punish you. It was holding it back to protect you. Because if that river broke through before you were ready, before your character could handle it, it would have destroyed you instead of delivered you. But something shifted. Your faith didn't just survive, it matured. Your worship didn't stop when the money ran out. And now, the dam is breaking, not leaking, breaking. And when heaven's river floods into your life, it won't just wet your feet. It will sweep you into a dimension of favor you didn't even know existed. So let me ask you something that will determine everything. Do you believe your name is written in heaven's ledger for this transfer? Because right now, angels are opening books. Names are glowing. Accounts are being credited. And if you can feel your spirit vibrating with recognition, that's not emotion, that's confirmation. Say it out loud, right now, wherever you are. My season of lack is over. Don't whisper it. Declare it. Heaven moves when faith speaks. And beloved, the transfer isn't coming. It's here. The millions aren't distant. They're dropping. And you, yes, you are about to step from invisible faith into visible, undeniable, overwhelming favor. But the question is, are you ready to receive what you've been fighting for? Because what happens next will require you to walk differently, think differently, and live like someone who finally understands the blessing was never about you being good enough. It was always about God being faithful enough. Chosen one, let me ask you something that's been burning in your chest for years. Why was your pain so much deeper than everyone else's? Why did your losses cut so much sharper? Why did it feel like hell itself had your home address memorized? You watched others sail through life while you drowned in storms that had no name. You buried people you loved. You held on to marriages that collapsed in your hands like ash. You stared at bank statements that mocked every prayer you ever prayed. And through it all, one question haunted you in the 3 a.m. darkness. God, why me? Let me tell you why. The greater the assignment, the greater the resistance. You weren't targeted because you were weak. You were targeted because heaven marked you as dangerous. Job lost everything in a single day. His children, his wealth, his health gone. And the scripture says in Job 1-8 that God himself pointed Job out to Satan, saying, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him." Job wasn't attacked randomly. He was attacked strategically. His suffering had a purpose. His pain had a plan. The Apostle Paul was shipwrecked, beaten, stoned, and imprisoned. In 2 Corinthians 11:23, he lists his sufferings like battle scars. Why? Because God was building him into a weapon that would shake empires. Every lash prepared him for authority. Every chain qualified him for breakthrough anointing. And you? Every health scare that left you trembling in hospital hallways, it trained your faith muscles. Every betrayal that shattered your trust, it taught you to lean on God alone. Every financial collapse that left you choosing between groceries and medicine, it stripped away your dependence on earthly provision and grafted you into divine supply. I know about those nights, beloved. The ones after your spouse passed and the house felt too quiet, too empty, too full of ghosts. The nights after your children moved away and the phone stopped ringing. The nights when loneliness wrapped around your throat like a noose and you whispered, "God, I can't do this anymore. But here's what the enemy never told you. Those nights weren't wasted. They were divine auditions. God was watching to see if you'd curse him or cling to him, and you chose to cling. Even when your hands were bloody from holding on, you didn't let go. Every tear you cried in that empty bedroom was collected in heaven's bottles. Every morning you forced yourself out of bed when grief told you to stay down, that was you passing the test. Every time you chose faith over bitterness, trust over rage, hope over despair, you were qualifying for an assignment so massive that it required someone unbreakable. You survived what was designed to destroy you. Do you understand what that means? Your survival isn't luck. It's your credential. It's your resume. It's proof that you can be trusted with the kind of power and provision that would crush someone who hasn't been through the fire. Malachi 3:3 says, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver." The refiner doesn't put gold in the fire to destroy it. He puts it in the fire to purify it, to burn away everything that isn't precious, to reveal what's truly valuable. And beloved, you've been in the refiner's fire. The heat you felt wasn't punishment, it was purification. Right now, the angels are standing at attention because they know what's about to happen. The millions that are dropping into your life tonight aren't just money. They're heaven's way of saying, you passed. You proved you can be trusted. Now watch what I do with someone who refused to break. If you're still standing after everything hell threw at you, declare it right now. Type it in the comments. I'm proof that faith works. Don't whisper it, shout it. Because your survival is a sermon. Your life is a testimony. And the wealth that's coming is God's exclamation point on your story. But here's what you need to understand. The millions aren't the reward. The millions are the weapon. And what you're about to do with them will change everything. Now we need to talk about something that separates the blessed from the buried. The millions that are dropping into your life tonight, they're not a reward for good behavior. They're a test of character. And here's the question that's going to haunt you until you answer it honestly. Can God trust you with what He's about to release? Listen to me carefully. There's a massive difference between receiving a blessing and stewarding an inheritance. A blessing makes you comfortable. An inheritance makes you accountable. God doesn't hand out millions so you can buy bigger toys and brag on social media. He releases kingdom resources so you can build what He's been showing you in the secret place. Proverbs 10:22 says it plainly. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it. But here's what most people miss, that wealth comes with assignment attached. You think God's going to drop millions into the hands of someone who's only thinking about themselves. No, He's looking for builders, not consumers. He's searching for generals, not tourists. Think about David Green, the founder of Hobby Lobby. The man built $1 billion empire. And you know what he did? Closed his stores every Sunday, tithed profits, and poured millions into funding Bible translation and ministry worldwide. That's not charity, that's stewardship. That's a man who understood that God wasn't giving him wealth for vacation homes. He was funding a mission. Or look at Dolly Parton. Rose from Appalachian poverty, became a global icon, and turned around and launched literacy programs that have given millions of books to children who couldn't afford them. She didn't hoard her blessing. She multiplied it. And don't forget the widow in 2 Kings 4. She had nothing but a jar of oil and crushing debt. But when the prophet told her to gather empty vessels, she obeyed. And God didn't just fill one jar, He filled every single vessel until there was enough to pay her debts and live on the rest. Why? Because she was willing to work with what little she had. That's the heart of a steward. God doesn't need you to be rich before He trusts you. He needs you to be faithful. He's not handing you a bonus check. He's handing you blueprints for generational healing, blueprints for breaking cycles of poverty in your family, blueprints for funding the dreams He planted in you decades ago, but you couldn't afford to touch. Luke 6:38 promises, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap." But notice the order: give first, receive second. God is looking for people who understand the flow of kingdom economics. You don't receive to hoard, you receive to release. So let me ask you directly, what are you going to do with the millions? Are you going to build that non-profit you've been dreaming about? Are you going to fund scholarships for kids who look like you did, broke, overlooked, counted out? Are you going to finally launch that ministry, write that book, start that business that employs people instead of exploiting them? Because here's the climax moment you need to hear. You are not being paid, you are being positioned. God isn't rewarding your past, He's funding your future. The millions aren't your finish line, they're your starting gun. Say it with me right now, out loud. God, I'll build what you fund. That sentence alone just shifted your destiny. Because now you're not just a recipient, you're a co-laborer with heaven. And that changes everything. So the question remains, can He trust you? Chosen one, something is shifting in you right now. Can you feel it? That weight you've carried for years, the invisible burden pressing down on your shoulders, it's lifting. And in its place, something else is rising. Something luminous. Something undeniable. People are about to notice you differently. Not because you changed your clothes or your hair or your address, but because the atmosphere around you is changing. You're going to walk into rooms and conversations will pause. Not out of fear, but out of recognition. Their spirits will sense what their eyes can't explain. You carry presence now. This is what happens when God moves someone from hidden to revealed. You don't become louder, you become brighter. Isaiah 60:1 says it plainly, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." That's not poetry, beloved. That's prophecy. That's your now. The millions dropping into your life tonight aren't the finish line. They're the confirmation. God is saying, you passed the test. You stayed faithful in the cave. Now I'm bringing you to the throne. But here's what most people miss. The wealth isn't the destination. It's the spotlight. God is flooding your life with resources so the world can see what faithfulness looks like when heaven backs it. You think Daniel survived the lion's den because he was lucky? No. He survived because light dwells where the righteous stand. Daniel 6:22 tells us, "An angel shut the mouths of lions." But let me tell you what the text doesn't say. Those lions saw something in Daniel that made them bow. They saw the glow of a man who refused to compromise. And tonight, that same glow is wrapping around you like a mantle. Your life is about to become a sermon, even when your mouth is silent. The way you handle the millions. The way you stay humble when promotion comes. The way you give when others hoard. The way peace follows you into chaos. People won't ask you what church you attend. They'll ask you what God you serve. Picture this. A lighthouse standing on jagged rocks, waves crashing against its foundation. For years, it stood in darkness, unnoticed, battered by storms. Then one night, without warning, the light inside ignites. And suddenly, every ship lost at sea turns toward it. They don't see the scars on the stone. They see the light piercing through the fog. That's you, chosen one. The scars don't define you anymore. The light does. But here's the moment that will change everything. You are not waiting for the blessing. You are the blessing. You're not hoping to become something. You already are it. The millions aren't making you chosen. They're revealing that you've been chosen all along. Isaiah 60:5 declares, "Then you will look and be radiant. Your heart will throb and swell with joy. The wealth on the seas will be brought to you. To you the riches of the nations will come." Not to someone else. To you. The wealth is already in motion. The ships are already sailing toward your shore. So right now, I need you to do something that seals this moment. Comment below, "I carry the light," not for vanity, not for show, but as a declaration that darkness can't reclaim you. You're not going back to hiding. You're not shrinking anymore. You're a lighthouse now, and lighthouses don't apologize for shining. The unveiling has begun. The world is about to see what God has been building in secret. And when they see you walking in abundance, in peace, in supernatural favor, they won't celebrate your success, they'll encounter your God. So tell me, chosen one, now that the light is ignited, now that heaven has marked you as undeniable, what are you going to do with this fire burning inside you? Do you hear that? That sound like ancient hinges groaning under the weight of eternity. That's not your imagination. That's the vault of heaven cracking open over your life right now. The same vault that's been sealed shut through every season of your suffering, every year you cried out and heard nothing but silence. Tonight, it swings wide. Let me take you back for a moment. You came here doubting. Your finger hovered over the screen, ready to scroll past just another empty promise. But something stopped you. Something whispered, "Stay." And you did. You moved from doubt to recognition, from recognition to hunger. And now, right now, you're standing at readiness. The journey wasn't random. It was orchestrated. Picture this with me. Angels in the throne room, pulling out ancient ledgers with your name written in golden ink. Not typed, not printed. Written by the finger of God himself before you took your first breath. Every tear you cried, recorded. Every night you chose faith when fear screamed louder, documented. Every moment you said, "Yes, Lord," when quitting made more sense. Sealed as evidence of your qualification. And now, right now, those same angels are releasing what's been stored. Golden rain of favor falling, not drizzling, pouring, flooding. Hearts that were locked in self-protection are awakening. Minds that rehearsed failure for decades are suddenly downloading heaven's blueprints for success. Romans 8:11 declares, "If the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies." The same power that resurrected a dead man is resurrecting your dead dreams tonight. Your dead finances, your dead relationships, your dead purpose. Philippians 1-6 seals it. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Not might complete it, will complete it. And that completion, it's happening right now in this very moment. But let's be crystal clear about something that religion tried to twist. These millions aren't about greed. They're about confirmation. They're God's receipt stamped across your life declaring, "I saw your obedience. I witnessed your faithfulness. I counted every sacrifice you made when no one was watching. And now I'm rewarding you publicly for what you did privately." This blessing isn't falling on you so you can build monuments to yourself. It's flowing through you to heal nations. You think this is about a bigger house. God's thinking about the homeless shelter you're going to fund. You think this is about a nicer car. Heaven's thinking about the single mothers whose rent you're going to pay. The millions aren't the mission, they're the ammunition. Can you feel it building? The atmospheric shift? The electrical charge in your spirit? That's not emotional hype. That's heaven moving. The waiting is over. The vault is open. The name written in heaven's account, the one they're calling out right now in the throne room, it's yours. Not maybe yours. Not possibly yours. Definitively, irrevocably, supernaturally yours. If you know, and I mean know, in the deepest chamber of your soul, that this message was sent specifically for you, don't stay silent. Write, "I receive it" in the comments right now. And share this message because someone in your life is 30 seconds away from giving up and their vault is waiting too. Heaven has moved. The question is, will you move with it? Chosen one, before you leave this sacred space, let me remind you of what matters most. Remember this. The millions aren't the miracle. You are. The blessing isn't just what's being poured into your hands, it's what's been awakened inside your spirit. You were never forgotten. You were never abandoned. Every delay was divine preparation. Every closed door was God's protection. Every tear you cried became the seed for the harvest you're about to walk into. And hear me clearly, you are not walking this journey alone. Even when the road feels uncertain, even when doubt whispers lies in the quiet moments, the creator of the universe is working behind the scenes on your behalf. He's moving mountains you can't see, opening doors you haven't found yet, and orchestrating blessings you can't even imagine. But beyond God's presence, you have a family right here. Thousands of chosen ones just like you, carrying the same calling, feeling the same fire, walking the same narrow road that leads to supernatural impact. We're not just viewers on a screen, we're brothers and sisters united by faith, connected by hope, and bound together by the love of Christ. So let me ask you this. Now that you know who you really are, a vessel of divine purpose, marked for millions, destined for kingdom impact, how will you walk differently when you wake up tomorrow morning? Before you answer that question, I want to pray over you. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to feel these words wash over your spirit like healing oil, a prayer of blessing and release. Heavenly Father, I place my hand on the shoulder of every precious soul hearing these words right now. Lord, you see them, not just their pain, but their potential, not just their past, but their purpose, not just their scars, but their strength. God, I pray that you would silence every voice of doubt that has whispered, "You're not enough." Break every chain of financial fear that has held them captive. Open their eyes to see the doors you're already opening, the opportunities you're already creating, the abundance you're already releasing. Father, place your mighty hand upon their shoulders right now. Let them feel your presence. Let them know that they are loved beyond measure, chosen beyond doubt, and destined for greatness beyond their wildest dreams. Give them courage to step into their authority. Give them wisdom to steward their blessings. Give them faith to trust your timing, even when they can't see the full picture. Lord, protect them, cover them with your wing. Send angels to guard their steps and prepare their path. Let them feel your presence in every room they enter, your peace in every storm they face, your love in every moment they doubt their worth. I speak life over their bodies, healing, vitality, renewed strength. I speak abundance over their finances, supernatural increase, divine provision, unexpected blessings. I speak restoration over their relationships, reconciliation, divine connections, love that reflects your heart. Most of all, Father, remind them daily that they are chosen, they are loved, they are never alone. Let them wake each morning knowing that this is the day you have made for their breakthrough. Let this be the night everything changes. Let this be the moment their struggle turns to strength, their doubt turns to declaration, their fear turns to faith. May they wake up tomorrow not as survivors, but as overcomers, not as strugglers, but as the chosen ones they were always meant to be. In Jesus' mighty name, I seal this prayer. Amen. Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell us what God spoke to your heart tonight. Share one word that describes how you're feeling right now. Ask for prayer if you need it. This community will surround you with intercession. And please, if this message has touched your soul, share this video with someone who needs to hear that their breakthrough is closer than they think. You might be the vessel God uses to awaken another chosen one who's been waiting for this exact message. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. Thank you for opening your heart, for letting these words penetrate the deepest chambers of your soul. Thank you for being brave enough to believe that maybe, just maybe, you're more than you ever dared to imagine. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and ring that notification bell. You're not just subscribing to content, you're connecting with a movement of chosen ones who refuse to accept defeat. Every week, we're releasing messages specifically designed to encourage, equip, and empower God's chosen ones. The whisper that brought you here hasn't finished speaking. Your story isn't over. Your greatest chapter is just beginning. Until we meet again, walk in the authority of your calling, rest in the certainty of His love, and know that your best days aren't behind you, they're ahead of you. Go in peace, go in power, go in the unshakable knowledge that you belong to the King of Kings. Heaven has moved, and so have you. Amen.